Hey everyone. Hi. Welcome. So I want to talk about how isolated we are. We all know we're isolated. That's hard to say. Isolated. And so we need to know what to do about that, right? We need to figure out a plan that we have this different life now. And it's not forever, it's very temporary, but it's been weeks now for many of us. It's been weeks that we're living in our homes, we're not going out, people aren't looking at hi Lisa. People aren't looking at each other in the eyes. It's dangerous to go to the grocery store. It's dangerous to go out. It's dangerous to go get gas, to get services, to go to get toilet paper. It's dangerous now. And so there's just this heaviness that is over everything. And it's really important that we really acknowledge the isolation that we all feel. And every family is going to be different. But there's things that we can do, right? There's ways that we can manage this. And it's really important to have a plan for that because we are hardwired for connection. The human brain is hardwired to have closeness and connection with other people, to love and be loved. And so I really want people to really think about that and recognize that it's harder to get that in our current environment. It's harder to get, hi Pam, it's harder to get what we need as human beings in our current lives. And so there's certain things to think about. There's certain things that we want to do. And some of the ideas or things that I do is, one is making sure that my family, it's the people that I am having close contact with, that we get good physical connection, that we sit close to each other, we look at each other in the eyes, we have moments of connection. So whether that's playing a game or whether that's just hanging out, that we make sure that we integrate those moments into our lives because we have one more opportunity to do that. And we can be intentional about it so that it's not like a get things done type of day, but that there's lots and lots more moments than we would typically have with our family where we get to connect, we get to be close to one another, that we don't have to get the dishes done right after dinner, that we maybe spend a few minutes just hanging out together and being super close on the couch. Like my kids and I are used to kind of being really close physically to one another. Hi Allie, hi Dean. And so really being intentional about the jobs and the chores that we have at home and the work that we need to get done. We might be managing a lot, but make sure that we're integrating into our lives close physical connection, lots of eye contact with the people that we are physically close to. And that might be a change of habits for people, but it actually can happen naturally if we slow down enough. And the biggest tool that I use typically for that is to listen. When I slow down, so in my household, there's just three of us. It's myself and my two children. When I slow down enough and I just, it's sort of like I move into my heart space and I give my attention to that child and I just get warm around it, that the connection happens naturally. It's sort of like it just draws them in. And it draws me in as well too. So it's extremely powerful to be able to do that. So that's one thing, is like the resources that we have available to us. And not that I like to call people resources, but I'm looking at this more of at a clinical way. So the people that we have close to us, we use that closeness, that ability to be close, and we get more out of it. And it's helpful to us and it's helpful to them. Hi, Karen. So that's one thing to do. And then another thing is then you look at the people that aren't, we're not allowed to be in the same space. We're physically distancing from them. And we really need to have a plan to connect with people. And I really, this might sound strange, but hi, Jean. This might sound strange, but I actually connect with 2 to 3 people every single day, where I have a phone call, or typically I try to do FaceTime or Zoom, Messenger, like a video chat with 2 to 3 people a day. When more so, that's when I don't have my kids. When I do have my kids, I do maybe one a day. And because I know that I need adult interaction that's warm and caring and connected and close. And, which is more than just an update. Here's my update. Here's your update. I do something called listening partnerships. Maybe I'll do a training on that soon again, because I like to present that every so often. I do something where, we take turns basically sharing our heart. And there's a guideline to it. There's guidelines to it, and it's a practice. And we just really share our hearts so that I feel like I'm being listened to, I'm being nurtured, and I'm being cared for by someone who's listening very deeply and giving me eye contact as well. So yes, what Karen is saying, wonderful to have an intentional plan to connect with others. It's amazing how meaningful it is. Absolutely. So that's the other thing, like people who are not allowed to be in my space, or we're social, I shouldn't say allowed, but we're physically distancing ourselves, that you can still find connection. It's extremely powerful. It's not as good as physical connection, but really you can get 80%, 85% of what you would with physical connection. So it's really, really powerful. The other thing I want you to think about in terms of an intentional plan for connection for ourselves, because our lives are different right now and we don't know how long this is going to last, and it might last months and months. And this might be the new way that we live our lives too, because coronavirus leaves and then you never know what's going to happen next. So we need to really have plans for these things. So the other thing I want you to think about in terms of an intentional plan is, what can we give? Right? What can we give? Like, who's the neighbor we can check on? Can we take out someone's garbage to help them? Especially if there's a lot of elderly people who, I have an elderly neighbor. She's very capable. She can't do stairs very well, but I can help her pay her rent. I can, run errands for her. I can take out her garbage. There's so many things. Hi, Sinead. There's so many things I can do. I can give. And so that's the question. What can you give? And can you think about, every day outside of your immediate family, because we're always giving, is there a neighbor or a friend or somebody that we can give something to? Because when we give, it really opens our heart. It helps us to feel good. It helps us to feel connected to our communities. On Nextdoor, there was somebody, a man who put out on Nextdoor, he said, hey, I have been blessed. I have a steady job. I'm in the tech industry. I've never had a downturn in my income. And I know that people are struggling right now. I'd like to help people pay a bill. Can I pay your light bill or some other bill that you have? Of course, he got inundated with people who had needs. However, he helped a ton of people, and what a beautiful gesture, right? So who can you make a gesture, and it doesn't have to be financial. Again, like what I said, I take out my neighbor's garbage regularly because she can't handle stairs very well. And I check in she has 4 kids who are adult children, but I still check in with her regularly to make sure she's okay. And if she has anything she needs, that I can help her. So just this idea of giving in some way to people is a way we can connect to our community. And so these are ways that we can be super intentional to not only support ourselves, but also support our communities. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I am so happy you came. And yeah, please let me know, what other ideas, what other things do you do to feel connected, to break through your isolation? What are some of the things that you do to be able to do that? One other thing I'll say is that I know for myself, it's in the afternoon that I feel the most isolated. I have no idea why that is. In the mornings, I know I have lots to do and I'm busy and I'm planning things, but it's in the afternoons that I start to feel like I have these little tiny moments of isolation. And so I plan for that. Okay, in the afternoons, I know I need to give to somebody. I know I need to connect with somebody. That's the time to do it. And so that, like, think for yourself, like, is there a certain time of day I start to feel isolated? Does it happen at night after dark? That can be a common time for people, and that never happens for me for some reason, but mine's in the afternoon. So plan for that, right? Like, okay, evenings are hard. What do I do? Do I do an exercise routine then? Do I play games with my kids? Do I cook and bake or clean, or like, what can I do to support myself, to feel connected and full and supported? So I would love to know your ideas on how you stay connected. So please write them down, comment below. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful, amazing day. Thanks, everyone. Bye.